Hello guys, Joe with BitRaged. So we've had some interesting developments in Bitcoin. We broke out of the longer term downtrend, the descending channel. But before we get into that, we have a really exciting announcement to share with you guys. We're launching our course Sunday, July 8th. We know a lot of you have been waiting for this. We're finally launching it. It's been a while because we've been putting a ton of hours into this course. We've put countless hours into this course. And we know it's going to be absolutely game-changing for you guys. So if you're a beginner, if you're advanced, if you're intermediate, all skill levels are going to benefit from it. If you're struggling learning how to trade, if you're struggling making good trades, this is going to help you out a ton because we've gone through that struggle. When we first learned how to trade, we went through that struggle. We know what it's like. We know what it's like to bang your head against the wall, wondering if you're doing it right. So that's why we created this course, to speed that up for you guys, so that you can learn from our mistakes, you can see the market for what it truly is, and how to capitalize on the positions the market gives you. So if that interests you, click the link in the description, drop your email, we'll get you early access when we do launch. Super excited about that. So let's get into Bitcoin. So we've had this longer term descending channel. There's a couple of different ways you could draw this channel. We could rein it in and just look at the most recent two touches. We're going to do that in a minute. But I wanted to show you this because I think there is a misconception based on what we're saying. We had a couple comments from recent videos where people said, well, based on this strategy, Bitcoin will be $0 because we're just looking for continuation and selling, and that's not the case, obviously. So why that's not the case is just look at this pattern here. We've had this ascending channel. We know that a lot of this was corrective. We had a big impulse here. It's arguable that that is manipulation. We had a big impulse anyways. And then we had this more corrective nature, and especially up here, this is all corrective. So we know that this is coming back to the downside. We just dropped into this descending channel, and that's what we've been trading here for a while. And so this is how the market will move. You're not going to get just selling and selling and selling and selling and selling. You're going to get selling and then maybe a pullback back up, and then maybe an ascending channel, or maybe it even goes up and establishes new structure. But you don't just get selling and selling and selling. When you do get a flag type continuation, it's more of ascending. It is very high probability. So this is a good tip. If you have a trend, in this case it's a downtrend, and then you have a pattern that is ascending, so in this case this is ascending, this pattern is counter trend. That is a very high probability pattern to break to the downside to continue the trend. The same thing if you have an uptrend. If you have an uptrend, like in this case, you have an uptrend, the pattern is descending. A very high probability that's going to break to the upside. So knowing that, we know that since this is all pretty corrective, we had big impulses in it, but a lot of it is corrective, we know that this is possible to break to the upside. We're starting to see that now. So there's a couple things I wanted to go over with you guys. As we dropped into this pattern here, we got this flag. We got this flag and then it just sold as expected. Then we got a smaller flag here with the sell. And then what happened after that was interesting. So we had the sell, another impulse, and then this candle happened. And this candle happened in a few minutes. So if you look at it, it's pretty clear that is not the most natural of developments. It's very, very likely that's a manipulated move. So I'm not going to be focusing on that when I look at my pattern. Because it's manipulated, it's not going to give us the truest form of the pattern. But as it started to drop off and give us more of this corrective nature down, we can start to see the market is giving us this. And what is that? It's simply a corrective descending channel. And a corrective channel, a correction, is simply low momentum. So we had a low momentum move down. We know that's not sustainable. You can't have a low momentum move down long term. So we get that break to the upside, and then we break above the longer term descending channel. Now you could draw this a couple different ways, and we'll go through that here in a minute. Then we got a flag and another break to the upside. So let's rein this in and only look at the most recent data. So here's a good tip for you. If you're ever struggling to understand what the market is giving you, delete all your lines, delete everything on the chart, and just look at the most recent data, the most recent 2 touches on any of the structures that you're looking at. So for example here, we could draw it from here, and I'll do that for you. We could have this kind of pattern. It doesn't change the structure at all. It just gives us a different perspective. And then I'll cut through this bit of information here simply because you can see the market responded to this pattern and not to this volatility. So whenever you have that, definitely just cut through it. If it's manipulation, cut through it. It's not reliable. But then we had this descending triangle, a falling wedge if you like. So to see that break above, it's not shocking at all, understanding what we know. Now it is arguable that this is a manipulated run, it's propped up. That is possible, and we have to consider that as possible. But what we also have to do is just trade the chart as it's giving us patterns. Simply trade the patterns. If it is manipulation, we can't control that. What we can do is simply trade what the market is giving us. So we have this pattern here. I will simply outline the parameters that we're in. So if we outline the bigger pattern, we're in a falling wedge style pattern anyways. And we know that. We've talked about this. We've had this descending channel. But the most relevant information for me is the falling wedge pattern and then this descending pattern within it. That's going to be the most relevant information for me. So since we saw the break above, we looked for that flag, we got the flag. From here, what would you expect to happen? If we were looking for selling opportunities here, and then we got the flag and a selling opportunity again, if you get the reverse, what do you expect? You would just expect the opposite. So we got the impulse up, a flag to continue it. Here it just looks like the start of another flag. Now as far as targets goes, we're looking at the beginning of this correction here as a potential target to hit and then reverse. We don't have to get all the way to that point, but it's a good area to watch. So as we close this off here, what we're simply looking for is the possibility that this either forms a flag like this and then moves up, potentially reverses here, or the potential for this to simply move correctively and we get more of a ascending channel, more of ascending wedge style channel to then reverse and move back down. But we have to consider what the market is giving us right now, and that is simply the start of a flag. So this isn't ready to trade as of yet, and I wouldn't just pop on an entry. I would wait for this to break above and then give us that clearer pattern, because it is also possible that we create a bigger pattern here and then still move to the upside. That is possible as well, because then the pattern just becomes this. So you have to consider all the possibilities. Going back to this, here are the potential possibilities we have. Either we create a flag and then we break above, and the break above would be your signal to enter as a buy, or we create a corrective ascending channel. And how you would know that would happen is if we just moved off here, got a move up, and then it was short-lived and then moved straight back down. You know that that's going to be corrective, and then potentially we have this pattern here. And so if we get that, you know price is very likely to reverse, and we may not get this touch here, and the pattern is simply evolving. But as of right now, this is what we have to trade, and we have to consider that this is the options we have. Whether or not any of this is manipulated is arguable. I think that there is evidence that there is manipulation going on in the market. But you can't argue with the fact that we are getting clear patterns. We are getting some really nice patterns to trade, and they are playing out. You can't argue with that. So again, we are launching our course this Sunday, July 8th. It's going to be absolutely epic. We can't wait to launch it to you guys. If you are interested in that, you're interested in learning how to trade, you're struggling as a trader, or maybe you're even an advanced trader and you just want to further your knowledge and increase your skill set, it's going to benefit both levels. So if you're interested in that, click the link in the description, enter your email. We'll give you early access when we do launch on Sunday. We genuinely appreciate your support and the fact that you guys have stuck with us over the past couple months. It means a lot to us. We are going to ramp up the content production here in the coming weeks, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care now.